Do you want to know which is an internal pressure that causes family conflict? I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, child development, and education, all through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're talking about family conflict. In this video, we're going to identify internal pressures that we might be experiencing leading to family conflict. And then we're going to talk about what you can do to help release that pressure, to help everyone move back to healthy communication in a calm way, in a way that leads to more unity and understanding. At the very beginning, I just need to say that reacting emotionally to anybody else's behavior is not healthy. It's going to lead your communication, it's going to lead your family bonding and unity in a bad direction, because suddenly you'll be focused on just yourself, your feelings, your processing. When you're part of a group, you have to advocate for the entire group. You have to make decisions that positively impact the group, not just yourself. It's so easy to think for yourself. In fact, thinking for yourself often causes family conflicts. People start to feel like they have unmet needs, that people aren't understanding them. This is something that leads people to not getting that connection that they need as a family. They feel distant from each other, and when they have that feeling of being distant, they start to feel like the other person doesn't appreciate them, doesn't care about them. So then they start having worse and worse behavior. Soon they're fighting and disagreeing over silly things before they know it. One of the things that leads to these internal pressures building up within a family is fear. People have expectations about each other, and when they start seeing certain behaviors occur that go against what they expected would happen within the family dynamic, they start to feel afraid that they won't have good family relationships, or that other people don't care about them, and these are the people that are supposed to care about them the most. And the list goes on of what types of things they might be afraid of. I mean, there's some basic fears like, I'm afraid I won't get what I need, or maybe I'm afraid you're going to wake my baby up from a nap. That could lead to a little small family conflict, but well, actually, that could lead to a big family conflict if you made a big deal out of it, okay? But those are little fears, but there's other fears too. Fears of not having the bond with other people. And as soon as somebody starts feeling distant, maybe they're stressed, overwhelmed, something like that, people could start misreading that within the family and start assuming that something was wrong with their relationship, because stress makes a person feel a little bit disconnected from everybody else. So keeping yourself calm, keeping yourself understanding healthy expectations versus the type that are going to trap you is really beneficial. So I have a special gift for you at the end of this video that will help you understand those expectations just a little bit better. But right now, I'd like to just mention that expectations are not a bad thing. I think sometimes people think that expectations are a bad thing, because so often when we create expectations, we end up frustrated and disappointed afterward if the expectations go unmet. But expectations are actually a really good thing. They help us, but it's the type of attachment to your expectation that you have. So if I have an expectation that we're all going to eat dinner at 6 p.m., then I have a focus. We're going to try to get dinner ready by 6 p.m. We're going to get everybody rallied and ready by 6 p.m. But if suddenly somebody falls down and scrapes their knee at 5:55 p.m., and so 6 p.m. is not going to work out very well to have dinner, then can I adapt to that? Was it worth it that I pointed the family in that direction anyway? Yeah, we were all on the same page, but hopefully I don't get emotional about the fact that now my dinner's not going to happen at 6 p.m. We've got to be loosely attached to the plan, but really attached to each other. I think a lot of times when people have expectations that trap them, they get too tightly attached attach the expectation, they forget about the people around them and they start communicating with them in ways that are selfish or even emotionally manipulative. Before we move on to the solution, it is important that we recognize that whenever someone has an expectation that doesn't get met, or a fear that they're worried about, or even they feel like they're not understood, they perceive all of those things as an unmet need. They felt like someone needed to understand them better, someone needed to recognize what was going on, and it didn't happen. So the sooner you can acknowledge where somebody might be coming from, the better. You really can't ever go wrong going up to a person and saying, I know right now you probably think that I didn't care. Or I know that right now you probably think that I don't understand what you're feeling about this. And I want you to know that I do want to understand more. And I know that you're feeling that way. And I'm sorry that it came across that way. Let's have a conversation about this. If you can say that you care about somebody else's feelings, you don't justify it, you just say, I know that's how you're feeling, then that can change everything. So what do you do to prepare the family to calmly handle problems so that it doesn't turn into family conflict in the first place? How do we alleviate some of these pressures? Well, first off, we can talk about them. We can be open in our communication. But if for some reason that isn't going to be an option, then there does have to be somebody who just says, I'll be the first to apologize. I'll be the first to go to the other person and say, this relationship matters more to me than, what's going on here. And I realize I made a mistake. I'm so sorry. Don't talk about their mistakes. Don't talk about any choices they made. Just talk about your own mistakes. Say you're sorry. Sorry matters. It's one of the most beautiful things to say to a person. I think the number one most beautiful is to say somebody's name, and then the next one is, I love you. And then the next one is, I'm sorry. So having humility to say you're sorry and to not take things personally anymore, it's powerful. Now this channel is all about skills and principles of self-government, and I teach parents how to teach their children skills of good communication. Skills like how to follow instructions and accept no answers, how to accept consequences, how to disagree appropriately, how to self-regulate. But those skills also apply to adult relationships too. Those aren't childhood skills. In fact, sometimes they can take a good portion of a lifetime to master. So it could be beneficial if you start learning the skill of disagreeing appropriately. When a person disagrees appropriately, they look at the person, they keep a calm face, voice, and body. They say that they understand the other person's point of view. They share their point of view, and then they listen to what they have to say okay, and drop the subject. Now, they may not always get their way. Sometimes the answer is still no. Sometimes the person still doesn't care about your point of view. But you were heard, and that's good enough. And you need to tell yourself that that was good enough. In fact, later, if you still want to work on whatever it is or indulge in your own opinion, that's okay. But when it comes to the relationship, drop the subject. It's over. It's not worth discussing anymore. And then allow yourself to detach from it and move on. That is a skill. Once you've apologized for something, can you just detach and move on? Can you say, I'm not attached to that problem anymore. I'm done. Dropping the subject. It's over. Dropping the subject is a self-government skill of power, and it helps a person be able to find calmness when they need it most. Sometimes what happens is we are processing in our heads so much that we have a struggle finding that calmness when we need it. But if we can just drop the subject about all the things we're taking personally or feeling from other people, it gives us the freedom to now find our true calmness and communicate in a way that's going to be effective. I would love to help you with your calmness. In fact, I have a Calm Parenting Toolkit, which is a mini introductory course to teaching self-government. It has 10 tools for calmness in it. So I'd love to give it to you for free. If you go to my website, teachingselfgovernment.com, and click on the Calm Parenting Toolkit, right there on the homepage, you can have it for free right now. That's going to help you with your calmness, which is in turn going to help you learn all of the other skills and principles of self-government. Click on the link to teachingselfgovernment.com next. I'll see you there.